So which do you want more? Strength, speed, or stamina? Hey, it's Graeme. You're joining me here on my YouTube channel or on cyclo-core.com. I am just back from the Kingdom Trails up in Vermont. If you've never been to the Kingdom Trails, do yourself a favor and get your ass up there because it is some of the best trail riding in the world. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It's the second time I've been there. My friends kind of dragged me out of here on an impromptu trip for a few days last week. I've been a little bit depressed the past month since the accident. It's pretty typical to kind of lose your fitness, lose your drive, and try to find your way back. It definitely helped. I had a nice time while I was there. I'm not riding very well right now. My strength just isn't what it used to be before the accident, but it's going to get there. And today what I'm going to do is I want to answer some questions for you, the everyday cyclist. People have been writing to me every day, asking some different kinds of questions. One of the most common questions I get is from someone like Mark, who wrote here, Graeme, which programs of yours do I need to get faster, improve my group rides, improve my top end speed, sprinting, speed, and also my climbing and my endurance? This is a very common scenario, and Mark, I'm not laughing at you, by the way, because you're a cyclist just like me and everybody else. We want it all. We want to get faster, we want to get stronger, we want to climb better, we want to ride longer. We have this kind of grandiose vision of getting all of this in just like 5 or 6 hours a week, all at the same time. And it's okay to want everything. But one thing I've definitively learned over the past 30 years of riding a bike is that it would be smart of us to kind of section out our thinking and our training to get more of what we want, but be a little bit more patient in how we get it and how we make it kind of pinnacle or get to peak levels at specific times is most beneficial to us. I have a concept that I've worked with for many years now, and many of you have heard me talk about it before, but it bears repeating because it's so perfect that no coach or anything else can really break it. Many good coaches around the world already know this formula. I would call it the triple S formula: strength, stamina, speed. And it really needs to work in a specific order, not just once in a cyclist's lifetime, but really over the course of a season or a year, and really multiplying that over many years to create more quality, more outcome for each of us over time. The first component, of course, being strength. I've said it again, again and again. It's strong first. So when a customer comes to me and they want to improve their climbing, their endurance, their speed, their group rides, the first thing I really like to focus on is just fundamental strength. You can't be a strong cyclist if you're not a strong person. So for me, I just look at the person: functional strength, core strength, body integrity, flexibility, mobility, all the things that many of us don't have really a lot when we get on the bike, at least at good levels. And then we wonder why I keep getting on the bike, Graeme. I'm putting in 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week. I'm doing longer, weekend miles. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing spin classes, but I'm not improving. Why? Well, we still haven't gotten you off the bike and probably dealt with some of the key issues that make your body, your engine, work better. So no matter whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, elite, or pro, the strength component, that underlying foundation, is hypercritical, and not just every once in a while, but at least once in a year or once within a season. And base strength, doesn't have to come during the winter months. I think too many of us think that, well, I missed my base phase during winter and now it's spring or it's summer and I should just go right to the stamina and speed. So I'm gonna go out and do longer rides and go really, really fast. Well, good luck with that. You can try, but you're gonna get really frustrated. And the reason why you're getting really frustrated is you haven't spent the quality time to build that strength foundation first. So what I try to do with my Cyclo 90 programs, and in particular my Cyclo 90 Masters base program, is in a very short timetable, 90 days or less. And again, you don't even need to use 90 days if it's already spring or summer for you. Even just a couple weeks of it will build that foundational strength in a very short amount of time. So like 6 hours a week, we're gonna have no wasted workouts, no wasted time. You're not gonna be doing ultra long rides, but that's not the goal. The goal is to build that quality strength, technique, and muscular endurance. Once that's there, then we can move on to step 2, which is taking that strength, that technique, and that efficiency and stretching it out a little bit further. And that's the stamina component of the second S. So strength, and then we have the stamina. Now, most of us believe that stamina is equal to endurance. And in simple terms, I would have to agree that, yeah, your stamina revolves around the concept of endurance, riding longer or harder courses for longer periods of time, regardless of miles again. So for me, time and effort trump miles. Miles are irrelevant to me. What's relevant is the effort you're putting out and how long you're doing that for. That defines to me stamina. What most people make the mistake of believing is if I just go out and ride long and slow miles, like I'm supposed to do them from the textbooks and the coaches of yesteryear, then I will build my endurance. Well, not necessarily, because what we're really looking to do is, of course, maintain a higher output, zone 3 plus sweet spot, zone 4 threshold, for longer periods of time, and then multiply that over days, weeks, and months to create more stamina. And the real key component here, the thing I really want to get across to you, and I've mentioned it before, is that endurance is really defined by your level of fatigue resistance. It's the resistance of inevitable fatigue that really helps you become a stronger, more endurance-focused cyclist. The best endurance riders in the world haven't just put endless hours on the bike. No, they've spent countless quality hours and time building their defenses around fatigue. I've met so many riders, and I've been this rider 1,000 times over, that believes that I can outfitness a ride. I can get stronger than the ride needs. And that's going to guarantee that I won't suffer at any point within the ride. I think that's maybe happened like one time in 30 years. One time it was just luck that I was just stronger than the ride could put out. In general, however, no matter how fit you are, the real key component is, can I build enough fatigue resistance and enough techniques, both mentally, physically, and spiritually, to overcome obstacles within a long, hard ride. That's the secret ingredient. So when I put together my Cyclo Stamina program, which is a 7-day protocol, it's only 7 days, but in that 7 days, I'm gonna put you into positions and opportunities to fail. And that's really what stamina is all about, is putting you into a state of vulnerability on purpose within your training to guarantee that failure is inevitable. And you might think to yourself, why would I want to go and do a ride or a training program that guarantees I'm going to fail? Well, it's simple. If you want your body to improve, you have to teach it to overcome failure. It's just that simple. If everything you do, you succeed at, don't expect to improve in anything that you do, regardless of being a cyclist. One thing I think that many cyclists make the mistake of is they think that they're going really hard and they're doing that all the time, but they're not going hard enough to break themselves because they're scared. No one wants to fail. No one wants to go out on a ride and be hanging their head and saying, I can't do any more. I can't go any further. I'm limping home. I feel like I'm bonking. Don't be afraid of these things. They're necessary. You can't make inroads into your fitness and into your mentality of endurance and stamina without those failures. So what I try to do with something like the stamina program is help coach you through that it's okay to hit these walls. In fact, we need to invite those walls coming at us at specific times and in condensed periods to teach your body and your brain to overcome them. I'm telling you, if you can have faith in yourself that when you fail, you've gained, that when you come back out weeks and months later for that big event, that big race, that whatever it is that's really scaring you, that you're excited for, and you meet those demons out there, you'll now have what you need, hopefully, to get through them. Now we have the last component, which is speed. Many of us put speed way too early into the sequence. I want to get faster. There's those big group rides, and the throwdowns, and the sprints, and the KOMs on Strava. I gotta get faster, faster, faster. Look, speed is great, but speed without being able to replicate or duplicate, to me, is worthless. It's one thing to be able to go out and have just one good day, one good sprint, one good whatever. It's another thing to be able to repeat that process, to call it into demand, on demand for yourself. That's where speed has a lot of value. And I think one thing I've learned over 30 years of riding is knowing when to use specific types of speed and how long to stretch that speed out to an advantage is the most critical thing. And for many more inexperienced riders, we tend to put out a lot of speed, way too much power without understanding that, hey, you did great there for that mile, but this is a 40-mile ride And we still have 4 or 5 sections coming up that are going to crush you. So if you spend all that energy now, you're going to be shot when you get there. And any experienced rider that's behind that inexperienced rider is loving it. They're just sitting in and saying, yeah, go ahead. Burn every match that you got. I'm just going to sit here and conserve and hide and make pretend that I'm hurting and struggling. And then when you're on the ropes, it's a knockout punch. Next thing you know, you're the one that's popped off the back and about to explode, and you're wondering why. And it's simply because you haven't either learned how to duplicate your speed, how to protect it, or how to really position it for an advantage for you. I'd love to believe that I can go out tomorrow and do multiple sections of 30 plus miles an hour repeatedly for 20 miles. It's probably not going to happen unless it's all downhill with a tailwind. But I could definitely position myself for 25 to 28 miles per hour sustained in important sequences where the speed actually gains me an advantage. And I think the most important thing to get out of all of this is that the sequence has to be in alignment from strength to stamina to speed. If you jump over one, if you jumped over stamina, you might think, well, hey, I don't want to ride long. I want to do short, fast races, crits, XC races. Great. Why do you still need stamina? Well, Graeme, I don't need to ride for 4 hours or 5 hours. I'm riding for 2 hours or less, but at threshold and above. You still need stamina. All speed represents, and listen to me, this is the most important, all speed really represents is stamina compressed into a tighter box. So if I can do a 3-hour zone 3 plus ride, which is, by the way, is probably one of the hardest rides you'll ever do with me, a 3+ hour zone 3 plus ride the whole time, that's a huge effort over a 3-hour time period. You're just below your threshold. You're oscillating that very small bell curve. What if we took that effort and I smashed it into 1 hour as opposed to 3? Well, now I've got an energy surplus where I can now elevate the intensity from zone 3 plus to what? Zone 4, potentially from time to time within that 1 hour into zone 5. So really when you think about speed and you want to do a 20-mile time trial or a 40K TT and you want to improve your speed, the stamina has to be there. And because mentally, you're going to take all that pain that lasted for 3 hours and you're going to crash it into 1 hour. You might crash it into 45 minutes or a half an hour. In fact, the shorter the squeeze, the more mental pain you should expect to experience. Many people that are time trial specialists, and I like time trials. It's one of my fortes personally. My body's just kind of designed for it. When I want to get faster, as in a specific TT, the physicality part is the least of my concern. As long as the strength and stamina are there, I know that I can do strong 1-hour efforts. What concerns me, what dictates the outcome of that time trial or that increase in overall speed is here. Do I have enough grit today? Do I have enough mental toughness today to withstand that inevitable demon saying, stop, slow down, it hurts, it really hurts, stop doing this. That ability to resist that comes from the stamina component. So if you are looking to get faster for crits and races and things like that, it's smart of you to spend some time at slightly higher efforts for longer doses and then learn how to compress that back down. Strength, speed, stamina, speed. Go in that order, and then when you're finished, guess what? You go all the way back to the beginning. And instead of adding more time in the beginning, you're just adding more quality. Remember, above all else, in all 3 components, quality always, without a doubt, trumps quantity. So even though if you're in a stamina program and there's longer hours or longer miles, if the quality isn't there to back it up, then you're still wasting your time. My friends, I hope these tips are helpful. Spend time on yourself, enjoy what you do, think, don't just try to grind yourself through working harder, but think your way smarter through your rides. You'll get more from it. Till we speak again with a smile on your face, I'll talk to you soon.